whenever you're ready.
Hello. Late nights, early mornings, hard work, confidence, and dedication are just a few things it takes to get through a musical theater audition. The audition process for musical theater can be quite nerve-wracking. People who do not participate in musical theater will never understand the risk that a performer takes every time they audition for a particular spot. Each performer enters an audition room knowing that there are a great number of people wanting the same role as they do. Every performer takes the time beforehand to prepare for their audition. This is when the stress starts to hit the performer. As a performer, you must assure that everything is perfect before you enter the audition room. You must have a resume. Your resume should include your general information, such as your name, address, height, weight, hair color, eye color, and voice part. Along with your general information, you should include your education and training. Once all of that is out the way, the performer should never forget to include their selected credits and experience. Along with the resume, the performer needs a headshot and appropriate sheet music for an accompanist to play. Practice makes perfect. A performance takes time necessary to assure that they have mastered each requirement of the audition. I chose this particular situation because it's personal to me. I've auditioned for many musicals in high school, and I've auditioned for UCO's musical theater program. I'm familiar with each aspect of a former audition musical theater. Although the performer takes a lot of time preparing and perfecting the requirements for an audition, they tend to freak out in the first portion of the audition process, which is the singing portion. Each performer knows that they must prepare 2 musical selections, a ballad and an up-tempo. The performer is asked to sing only 16 bars, but is encouraged to know their entire song. Sheet music is required for an accompanist to play. When the performer enters an audition room, they are nervous. They often do not know what to expect unless they are in a familiar atmosphere. The director often introduces his or herself, and then you introduce yourself. Most performers like to perform their prepared ballad before they do their up-tempo. After the performer finishes their selections, they are asked to sing a few notes so the director can hear his or her range if it wasn't already prepared in their selected songs. Whether the performer does good or bad, the directors are also always generous. After the singing portion is over, the performer exits the room and is often disappointed in themselves. He or she feels as if they could have done better, or they feel as if they did better when they practiced. Whether they show it or not, the performer doubts themselves and they feel as if they did not earn a spot. With most auditions, the monologue portion follows the singing portion. Requirements of the monologue portion of an audition are different everywhere you go. Some companies require the performer to perform a minute or a minute and a half long monologue, while others give you the choice of having one already prepared. Performers who are allowed to have a monologue prepared are less stressed than those who do not. The performer enters the audition room nervous because they do not know what to expect. When the director hands the performer a piece to read, so many thoughts run through his or her mind. They wonder if the piece will be familiar with them, or they wonder if they'll be able to properly deliver the monologue. After the director hands the performer the monologue, he or her takes a minute or 2 to review it. The judges ask the performer to perform the piece, and once the piece is performed, he or her enters the room wondering how they did. They leave the room wondering how they did. They also wonder what the judges thought of them. After the performer performs his or her monologue, the performers are asked to change into dance attire for the final portion of the audition process. The dance portion can either be the most fun or the most nerve-wracking portion of the audition. The performers are often broke off into small groups. Within those groups, a choreographer teaches a short dance. The process is fast. Those who are able to catch on to choreography fast love this section of an audition because they feel dominant. As a stronger dancer scopes the room, they may see others struggling and they start to feel dominant. As the stronger dancers scope the room, they may see others struggling and they feel secure. Those who are not strong dancers hate this portion of an audition. A judge can tell by the look on the performer's face whether they are confident or not. Judges can easily point out a weak dancer because they often try to stay towards the back and they're not smiling and they don't look excited. The dance portion of an audition completes the audition process, and performers stick around for the results. In the past, I have observed others as well as I have observed myself. It takes a lot of hard work and preparation to audition for any musical theater program or part. I have been through the audition process quite some time, and it's safe to say that it is stressful. I have observed others as well as observing myself. I've noticed how nerve-wracking the process can be. The stress builds up as you are preparing for your audition. The performer wants everything to be perfect. As a performer enters a portion of an audition, they get nervous and may oftentimes do not perform the way they practice. Intimidation takes place as performers observe other people and realize that there are some people better than them. Anxiety comes into play when the entire audition process is complete. Once their name appears on the list, they feel a sudden sense of relief. And if their name is not on the list, a dedicated musical theater person knows that they have to work twice as hard the next time. Thank you.